Good day. My name is Fran Steart. I am a dietitian with a special interest in diabetes. Thank you for joining me, and I really hope that I can help you over the next few days. What we are going to attempt to do is for us to get your sugar levels a little bit better. I'm not too sure which insulin you're on, what your dosage is on, but this whole program is to try and facilitate you to understand your body better and how it responds. So what I'm going to do is run through a few bits of information on carbs. I do a lot of carb counting. What that essentially means is that there are meals where we will possibly eat some carbs, for example, like a piece of bread. And what we're trying to see is how much insulin do you need for that meal to cover that carbohydrate. So for example, it's like buying something. If I want to buy a piece of bread, it might cost me R2. Now for you, it might be the same. So you might need 2 units of quick acting insulin to eat that piece of bread. For some of you, you might only need R1 or 1 unit of insulin to buy that piece of bread. Now there isn't just bread, I do understand that. And so what we're going to quickly look at is the different areas of foods and which ones are going to be most impactful with your sugars. So just stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So as you can see, hopefully on your recording as well, is some information. The first part, and you'll see it is in red. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm just going to explain a little bit of it. But it's basically teaching us what counts as carbohydrate and what counts as non-carbohydrate. If you're using insulin at a meal time, it means that you will potentially need insulin with the carbohydrate. So if you eat carbs, you need insulin. If you don't eat carbs, you might not need insulin. So for example, under your starches, it will be things like any of your breakfast cereals, any porridges, any rice, pasta, baked goodies. It'll be muffins, wraps, breads, crackers, sweets, chocolates, potatoes, sweet potatoes, madumbis, and then your legumes. Then under the next column, we can see fruit and vegetables. So it'll be any fruit. And generally, we'll look at a portion of 1 fruit. So it's an apple, a pear. If it's maybe some berries, I like using cup measures. So you're going to use this in your tracking for me as well. But basically, 250 mils of berries, or otherwise, if you've got chopped pawpaw or something like that, it will go into the cup measure. If you're having fruit juices, it also is obviously very concentrated carbohydrates. And then your large portion of starchy vegetables, so a cup of butternut, a cup of corn. I have put question mark next to beetroot just because some people find it does influence their sugars, other people not so much. So it's something for you to find out again. And then dairy products. So a lot of people forget that dairy products actually contain carbohydrates. So milk, mass, yogurt, ice cream, custard, drinking yogurt will be carb containing. If we look under non-carb containing, that will then mean your protein, so anything from an animal product like your chicken, your fish, your beef, your pork, ostrich, venison, lamb, mutton. It will be biltong, it will be raw, like sashimi. It will be eggs, cheese, cold meat, and then your butters are under a fat and a protein, which is why there's a little asterisk there. Under fats, so I've also put them into 2 groups. The better options are your nuts, your seeds that are raw. It'll be oils like olive oil, avo, canola, olives, avocado, guacamole, your nut butters again, and then pestos and hummus. Under the not so great fats, so we can eat them, but a lot less regularly, is your coconut oil or milk. It's your mayonnaise, margarines, and your butters. And then on your free list, so this is really where we want to bulk up at meal times, is most of your other vegetables, except for those under your starchy column, so the column that we saw at the top. In trying to build a balanced meal, what we try to do, and I'm also going to show you in this picture here, and I've basically converted that onto your information sheet. But basically it is a quarter plate of protein, a quarter plate of starch. So your starch will be your rice, your potato, sweet potato, will be some pasta, that sort of thing. And then half of your plate, we're aiming for your low carb vegetables or salad, and then a small portion of fats to go with it. So that's just a very general, helpful guide that you can visually use at meal times. We're going to jump to the next page, and this is looking at portions. So when I mentioned one slice of bread earlier, it doesn't mean that you are only allowed bread in your day. Obviously, we would like variety. So my suggestion here is looking at what you are currently eating, and then seeing what your portions convert to. So as I've said at the top here, it says each portion below is equivalent to one slice of bread, or basically it contains about 15 grams of carbohydrates in it. So if you eat one slice of bread, it equates to 3 Provitas, or half a cup of cooked rice, or a quarter cup of putu or pap. And that's why if you do not have these cup measures, you will need them over the next few days. Please make sure that you have a 250 ml, which is 1 cup, a 125, which is obviously half a cup, and then a quarter cup and a third of a cup are also very helpful, because, for example, like we've just mentioned, you'll also see further along that there's Future Life and Pronutro. So if you are eating a quarter cup of Pronutro or Future Life, that equates to 1 carb portion or 1 slice of bread equivalent. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, are realizing that if you're eating 1 cup of Future Life, it basically means you're eating 4 slices of bread. It is going to be very different, the amount of insulin that you use. If, for example, one breakfast morning, you only eat 1 slice of bread and you use 4 units of insulin, the next day you choose to have a cup of Future Life plus a cup of milk, which equates to 5 slices of bread. And if you're still using only 4 units of insulin, it basically means that your sugars could very much run high afterwards, or maybe on the days where you're using 4 units for 1 slice of bread, you might go low afterwards. I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to go through each thing on this page, but this is basically giving you a basic breakdown of carbohydrates and then quantities. So try to look for some food that you are eating currently, and then that is then going to be the guided portion that you are now going to start calculating. So you'll see it goes through the different starch options, fruit options, vegetables, dairy, and then a few other options which are a bit more fun. There is also the app called the Fat Secret app, which a lot of people are using. It is a South African based app, so it does have a lot of our foods from South Africa and very helpful. So if you need to jump onto that, then you can also obviously do that. And then what I would like you to do is I'm sending you what I'm calling a carb counting diary. What you'll do is put the date in, the time that you are choosing to test your sugars. So for example, if you wake up tomorrow morning, I want the date to be the 26th of May, 2022. And then the time being 7:30 in the morning, you take your pre-meal sugar reading. So you test your sugar, you write it down. In the food eaten, I would like you to start to think about carbs, proteins, and fats. So because we're doing carb counting, I would really like you to put in the measurement of how much carbohydrate you've eaten. So 1 slice of white bread or half a cup of cooked oats. So trying to be quite specific. Below that, you can then also write anything else that you've added to the meal. For example, 1 boiled egg, 2 teaspoons of butter, 1 sliced tomato. So as much detail as possible, please add it into that table. And then correction dose. So some of you might have learned about correction doses. If not, please don't worry about it. Correction dose is basically you deciding whether you need to get your sugar levels down with a bit of insulin, which you'll add to your meal dose. So, for example, if you're running at a 10, you might give yourself 1 extra unit of insulin. I will then want you to show me the different calculations. So you write 1 unit of Humalog or Nova Rapid, and then the insulin for the meal. So have you been told to maybe take 2 units of insulin for your meal? Have you been told to take 4 units of insulin for your meal? So please write that down. So cumulatively, I will be able to see that you took 4 units for the meal plus the correction dose. So we want to see it separately. And then 2 hours later, I want you to document the time. I want you to retest your sugar readings. And then I want you to put any comments next to that. Maybe it's a very stressful day. Maybe you forgot to test, so it's a little bit later. It doesn't matter. There's no judgment. I'm here to help. So put it in your insight. I really hope that that makes sense. I want you to pop me any questions and then I will let you know. So where to from here is that I would like you to go through the information again that I've sent you. If there's any clarification that you need, then let me know. But basically, from today, you can already start at the next meal that you have is to test before the meal, write down what you've eaten, write down what your sugar level was, write down what you've decided to give yourself in terms of your injection for the meal, and then 2 hours later, I would like you to do the recheck. All right, so we call this test and measuring. It helps us to really understand how your body responds to the food that you're eating and the insulin dose that you're taking. Once you've started to do that, so for example, if you're starting today, I want you to document it. By the end of the day or by first thing tomorrow morning, I'd like you to send me through your sheet of information and I will then go through it and I will send you a response on how I'd like you to look at it. Or if you've started picking up anything, we can start to implement that. So all the best. I'm so excited to help you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.